Welcome back to the Rip Off Podcast. Wait, we good? We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We didn't laugh. We weren't
No,
laughing.
no, not at all.
We were being very serious.
We were good.
This is a very serious thing we're doing.
Because this is the second episode. I'm Christian Wilcox, always joined by Tanner Kenley. Our guest today, Reid Dutton.
What's up?
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic intro.
Sorry,
Holy
guys.
Toledo.
Except
Holy
dang, it's
moly,
me, Reid
actually.
Dutton.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, it's me,
It's
Reid
me,
Dutton.
Reid.
I can't do it unless I've been yelling my heart out
All
at
night.
the karaoke.
Mm.
And by karaoke, I mean
What's
other
your
places.
go-to karaoke song?
Creed Higher. That's a
Can you take
Yeah.
me higher?
He's actually John Creed.
That was actually Reid's voice. I
Yeah,
dubbed
that-
it over.
Yeah.
Well, to just break that, to get into the second episode that we did, because we filmed it on the same day that we filmed
Thomas's.
Thomas's
so
episode,
most of the technical difficulties that were in there were still in this one.
Yeah.
So the 0.5 speed on the two shot.
Always fun. Always fun.
Just the fact that it had taken forever because
It's been a
they
while.
both were there the whole time for setup.
Yep.
So Reid was there for the whole 2-hour setup.
Yeah,
and
I actually
for
ran
filming
the
of
cameras
Thomas's.
for
and
Thomas's.
No, well, you helped us with the light bit for Thomas.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
remember with the
Yeah.
cold open.
When y'all were yelling at the producer, that was me.
Well, yeah, you were just
I
standing
was-
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the subject.
But I did tuck my mic this time, so that was a
Okay,
good thing.
okay,
That was a little bit of a
good,
fix,
good.
but it was because that we had a change of clothes, me and
Yes.
Tanner,
right.
because we
Because we
wanted
wanted
to.
Because we did the thing where I walked in
right.
with the
Yeah.
same clothes.
Well, we wanted to
That'll
make it
work.
look like we were filming on, I guess, a separate instance,
Why is that?
just to have a sense of like continuity, you know,
No.
that we could kind of call back to. And if we wanted to say like a week to week thing, which it didn't stay at all. Okay,
I was about to say like that you kind of nailed the week to week thing in that you completely missed the mark and didn't record every week. So that was.
But
that
we
was cool.
made it look like that, kind
No,
of.
not
Not really,
really,
Not in
but-
terms of an upload schedule.
No.
Yeah. What was
We just
this?
made it look like they were separate instances, but it played well into your bit, which we'll get into later. But it
Right,
played
right.
really well into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for the first two episodes that were actually a week apart,
Sure.
but they weren't. But they looked like they were.
Hey,
It was okay.
I think 5 or 4 and 5 maybe. There was a second set of episodes that were a week apart,
proud.
and that was
Good.
it. And I think it was either
Consistency
4
is
and 5
key.
or 5 and 6.
Yes.
Everything else was not. I think episode 3 was only a day off. I think it was 8 days later instead of 7. And then 4, I think, got delayed by like 2 weeks. And
Why are you looking at
then
me? I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting.
I-
here.
you don't need to
I
figure out what to
didn't-
do
I
with your
didn't-
hands.
I
You just
didn't-
hold the mic.
I didn't say anything. I was just looking.
He's just admiring.
I
get
wouldn't
it.
go that far.
I would. I would.
But okay.
But yeah. So, well, I just actually just rewatched the episode so that I could talk about things. And I know that Christian's got notes down, but
Mhm.
one of the very first things I noticed in our episode was Reid and I were actually watching reels. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
we were joking.
That
we
wasn't a
actually.
fake.
We
that-
actually did.
Oh, our cat's
We've
doing
got a
Cat
cat.
wants
Cat
to look
off
out the
frame.
window.
Hey, stop that.
cat off frame.
Producer, edit that out.
Hey.
He's chill. He'll be fine.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, you know what that means?
No, he's chill. He's chiller than a See, he's getting into it.
He's
Cat's getting into the
chill
bowl,
mode.
into his little bowl, and he'll
He's
rest.
getting into chill.
Anyways, yes, we were actually scrolling. I wish I could
That-
remember what the video we were watching
It was so long ago, and it was probably brain rot in the first
Oh,
place.
100%.
But
Yes.
yeah,
I feel like it wouldn't be that inaccurate of a guess to say that it would be like a car crash or something.
it
Instagram
was
is
notorious for-
Instagram. Yeah.
yes.
It was something funny though. Not
I mean,
depressing.
Like a
I'd
car
actually-
crash.
right, correct. Like someone dying. on
Yes.
camera.
My favorite.
Well, another thing that I forgot, and I had to remember it when I looked into the notes for the episode that we had,
Mm-hmm.
something that got cut out was that the original, I guess, open back into it from the intro was me talking about like like, what do you think about all that social media stuff? And like a little bit of it's there, but then
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I kept hammering home the concept of the mind cube.
Yes. the
And I was
mind
like, you were
cube.
poisoning your mind cube,
Yeah.
which for context is something that I have completely stolen from the
Ripped
Yard
off even.
podcast. All right, man.
All right.
You know how I feel about that. I don't.
No.
I really hate
We like it. I like it.
incorporating any sort of pun that involves
Hey, guess what?
the word ripoff.
Oh,
But
he
that
almost
was
did it.
fully stolen. And do you remember, hey,
Hey, buddy.
making his film debut as our little kitty?
Fabu.
All right. That was another issue in this episode also,
Yes.
and that we specifically pointed out mid-filming, and I'm pretty sure I kept
It's
in
in the
with-
extended version.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
we kept combining words and
said-
whatnot.
Boost was a good one.
We said faccident and for farming accident at one point.
I remember I said sporn
Sporn.
for
That was a good one.
spicy corn, I
spicy
think.
corn.
Yep.
We
Spice
that was an
beans.
issue. In
yeah,
the,
you're
that was an issue in the first episode, wasn't it? Where y'all
Yes.
just, like that was.
I
and
think
I guess it was still
it
fresh.
probably
because it
carried
wasn't a
over
week
to
apart.
yeah.
From Boost. We did
It was-
Boost.
it was-
And then
Boost was ahead of its time.
It was
though.
Boost
very funny.
adjacent.
yes.
Yeah.
We did Cat Cafe.
Well, I was saying another
Cat
thing
Faye.
that I kept doing that we cut out was I kept going, "You think you're better than me?" And I would move my hands
Yeah.
like that, and I don't know why. I
Wasn't
I
funny.
think I remember Tanner told me as we were writing it, he went, "That's not gonna work."
Yeah, I was like,
and I
this
went,
isn't
"Nah,
good."
trust."
It really kind of it felt like it drug on, but it definitely didn't help that I was there for
What-
the hour leading up.
Yeah, well, I was
to-
gonna say that you helped save that little bit when you were talking about fubbing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
phone snubbing,
Yes.
which led to, in my opinion, the iconic shot of Tanner going, "Nuh-uh,
Yes.
no,
No,
no."
just
Right.
like that. Could you actually recreate it?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Hold the mic for me.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. No.
Wow.
No.
He's a natural.
My goosebumps have goosebumps.
So, yeah. I found that's caught on in a lot of communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I winked at the camera for
Yes.
anyone that's just listening.
I also winked.
I aggressively
I pointed
winked.
over there.
But yeah, so
I think I missed the
that
bit.
did fnubbing led to the nuh-uh bit, which is a running theme for me. I've done that for a long time, but
Mhm.
that it made it
Glad I got to contribute to the
Mhm.
culture of
Yes.
the
And then
rip-off.
afterwards, we were talking about you farming, in which I had your face as those bullet
as the
points.
bullet points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
I
that was
which
pretty creative.
might have been the only redeeming quality of that segment, because one of the things that was just an issue was that I think in between filming, maybe we had talked about how we kept cutting off Thomas and everything, and so we're like, we need to let him talk more, and then it kind of led to us just letting Reid talk too much, but also keeping it in for
Right.
all of it just to make time, because
Right.
a big disclaimer that we need to address for this whole first season of the ripoff we did was that it was for a class technically,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
one of the requirements for that was that I had to hit an hour of runtime by the end of the semester. So that's why episodes were going like 10, 11, even 12 minutes. And that will no longer be an issue because it's no longer for a class. So like
It
we
is just
filmed
for
one
self-indulgence
this
now.
yeah, we filmed one this week. And we're still filming them for like 20 to 25 minutes, but
Yeah.
we'll cut them down to probably like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere in there. And
I
then
expect it'll probably end up being around 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Is what probably
and then
the
the extended ones will be however long we want.
Yeah.
So that's good that we no longer have that restriction, but it's something that I needed to clear up because the first season has that damper on it to where some of those episodes could have been a lot better.
But I'm glad we have this podcast to talk about that
To clear
stuff.
that up.
And,
And it's another
but-
thing
and
of
it-
we had mentioned having Thomas back on. Of I think we also plan to have Reid back on because
Mm-hmm.
it's specifically with those two episodes that had so many issues that we want to
growing
redo
pains.
them.
Yeah, growing
yeah.
pains. Well, and this podcast gives us the chance to tell all of the people who watch,
people, all of them,
all
all
of them.
10.
All the people that said it
11
sucked.
maybe.
Mhm,
All those
right.
all you people on Yik Yak.
Yeah, looking at you.
That told me that
all
you
of our
sucked.
hate.
I see
Apparently we got hate posted on Yik Yak.
Yes.
I never saw the post.
I
It was
didn't
me.
either. It was
But-
Reid.
It was not me, but
Oh.
it would have been funny if it was me.
Yeah.
I still think
But
it's
yeah,
strong as
so,
hell.
like,
any
just the-
publicity is good publicity.
Amen.
The tens of fans now know
The tens,
now
the fans,
know why
the ones
The-
of
the-
fans.
why things are bad
The
and why things
tans.
are improving.
Yeah.
So
But the farming talk did lead. We were talking about a plow, and I'll
Yes.
say I was electric. You were talking about a
Okay.
plow. We were,
Yeah.
Reid
that
was talking about a
Greek?
plow. Yeah, and I went. He was like, I don't think you city folk know what a plow is, and I
Yeah.
went, is that Greek? And Tanner loved it.
it was good. I liked
loved
that.
That was
But
pretty
I
funny.
break a lot in this episode. I
You
realized
do.
I break a
You do.
lot
Yep.
in this episode.
Yep.
Well, one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about and like ask about a farm accident was because we knew that it was going to lead to Reid talking about the toe thing, because the toe
toe.
injury was a real thing. Of
Real
he
bad
sent
thing.
that
Yeah,
what
and-
over the summer,
Yeah,
and
it happened.
the
so-
actual injury is disgusting.
And
It's
this is it
Yeah, it's
on
bad.
screen right here.
Yeah, right
no,
here.
I'm not
actually.
put. I
But
I might put
yeah.
the thumb guy up there.
You might have
again.
to
It was-
put
it-
me with the with buzz cut.
we
on
were,
there.
that would be. Don't do that. That probably is worse than the toe
Okay.
cakes.
Oh
Alright.
yeah, Reid. Before
okay.
I forgot to ask, what should I put on the green screen before we just decided that should be for the
Oh,
the previous
yeah, okay,
10
so-
minutes?
so
What should be on the
there-
green screen?
So we could do somebody else's foot because we do have a Polaroid
No,
involving that turtle right there. That would
We
be
can't
pretty.
see that turtle.
I know, but
We'll bring it on. I got it.
involving. Please hold for production.
I'm not. This is.
Production.
I'm not saying
This
whose
is a
foot it
turtle.
is, but it's not one of ours.
I don't
So
know if we should put that on
we
there.
shouldn't.
awesome.
We shouldn't.
We
But I
shouldn't.
do want to call it
So
out.
give me
because it is-
something else that I can put there.
Okay, so you're putting me on the spot here.
You got to be fast, bro. We can't have dead air time.
I was gonna be quiet for the bit and just like, but no, there's this picture of Squirt where he's sitting up against the wall, like as
Yes.
like a little freak,
I know what you're
and
talking about.
and he just like his
Legs
yeah
are weird.
yeah, and he's that's what I want.
Wait, he just said it. You don't need to
Yeah,
keep going.
I
He just said it.
I answered the question.
This isn't Jeopardy. Alex Trebek is dead.
It's still going.
of
The show
natural-
is still going.
Well, but it's not the same.
That's true.
The
That's
soul
true.
of it is dead.
Shout out to Alex Trebek and shout out Christina Applegate.
Put her on screen.
Yeah, we can put Christina Applegate on screen.
Look at this dude.
This guy.
But now we get into the point of the notes sheet where we're talking about you being in the same clothes. So that was your idea for you to walk in and then to bring it up in the next episode and that's one of the reasons why we were having a change of clothes, and we were just like, well, if we had a change of clothes in these last two, we should probably do that for the rest of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked really well. I
It
feel
did.
like.
It's my favorite part of the episode. I just rewatched it, and I think it's the best part.
Yeah.
To be fair, there wasn't really the
It went on a little long,
Yeah.
but it was still okay. I just remember our failed dap that we had
Yeah.
when you made the Virgin Islands joke, and I
Yes.
was just like,
Yeah, the Virgin
That one
Islands
hurt to
was a
watch.
good
which
joke.
it
And
reminds me of.
also the silence between you and I when you say you hadn't watched it was very funny to me. Like
What?
you and I both go, and like when he's like, oh, "No, I didn't watch it. It's my special. It's my favorite."
Oh
show.
yeah, he goes, "It's my good shirt,"
It's my good show.
and we're just like, "Oh, okay."
And we just go,
okay.
"Ooh."
Okay, but the dap reminds me of that clip in Smiling Friends season 2 with I think it's episode 5. The two brothers, like the evil scientist, and then the
Yes,
guy
and then
that's Joel
Joel
Haver,
Haver, yeah.
and the dap that
I
they
just saw
do.
that actually. Like
The dap that they we'll put that on screen as a
that's a good one.
reference. But
Yeah.
that's what it reminds me of. And I transitioned with Tanner just going like this.
Yes.
Just making a dumb face 'cause I had nothing else to
Yeah, the
do.
transition was me doing dumb faces, which also is a running theme
Yeah.
throughout all of season 1, and will continue to be.
But
I
it was
like doing dumb faces.
another thing I noticed of with that, and for probably the first half or maybe just the first 4 episodes of that season, is that whenever anybody makes a face or something like that, I zoom in very aggressively as like to heavily emphasize, and that was something that I stopped
Yeah,
doing.
it's right here actually.
No, I'm not doing that much. I ain't doing all that. But it was something that I stopped doing because I didn't want, one, when you zoom in that much, the video quality doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
But 2,
Feels
I
like-
didn't want to just like put it directly in your face of just like,
Mhm.
this is the joke. This is what it is. And so I kind of realized that even just a slight zoom in or anything
Yeah.
works, or to just kind of let people find it themselves.
Yeah. The joy of discovery, if you would.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So-
then after that was the Trump impression segment,
which is very funny.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking about, could we do that? And we were just like, yeah. And we eventually were just like, yeah, but we were just so worried about, because of how early it was, of not knowing what we could and couldn't do.
The editing choice to relay the same three segments.
Well, part of it was that I wanted it to be long, but that we didn't have enough footage of it. So my only option was to just keep using the same 2 clips over and over and over, which I then think worked better because it was that,
like, hey, wait,
in and of itself was a joke.
Yeah. Bits and bits, bits on bits.
I heard one of my friends who watched the episode said that was their favorite. Judah said that.
Shout out to Judah.
Shout out to Judah.
Shout out to Judah.
Who I actually thought was a girl when I saw the Polaroid.
What?
Yeah, you can put that up.
It's one ugly girl.
Yeah, I asked Thomas.
No offense,
no offense. It just that Polaroid is not a very flattering picture of you. No offense, but
it is fun. It's one of my favorites.
It's a good one. Like
it's a really good one.
He looks like he's eating.
For context, in our apartment, we have a wall of Polaroids. So everybody who visits our apartment takes
what's
a
it
Polaroid
called?
holding our cat Squirt. It's called the Squirt wall because our cat's name is Squirt.
That's what I
thought.
There's
no other reason.
Yeah,
no other reason at all.
Cool people that walk into our apartment. There's a few people that have been in our apartment that have not taken a picture with it.
They're not allowed to.
So by that logic, everyone on the Squirt wall is considered cool by you.
No,
I don't.
I didn't explicitly say that.
You
but if you're on there, you're especially not cool. If you've been in here and you're not on it, you're especially not cool.
Okay.
Except my mom. Love you, Mom.
Cool. And your dad.
I don't know if I can include that.
And your dad.
And your
there we go.
White dad.
Yeah, my white dad and my Asian mom. But
Speaking of parents, I took Tanner's mom on Valentine's Day.
Tanner's mom was Reid's Valentine's Day, and you can put that picture on there.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
Yeah, sweet.
You'll
have to ask her if she's okay with that.
She'll be fine.
Yeah,
consent's important, Tanner.
I'm not really too worried.
Your mother and I have really.
Sorry,
your mother and I started to really bond over, and her trust is really important to me.
No, it's my mom's which is great.
Your mom is on the wall.
My mom is on the wall. It's a very bad picture of her.
Yeah, she looks like a Pokemon trainer. She looks like a 12-year-old.
Runs in the family.
She's very short.
Yeah. But anyways, the Trump impression segment led to me asking about Reid's Scottish accent.
Yes.
And you saved that segment. You saved that entire segment.
Because obviously Reid wasn't going to do a Scottish accent.
Yeah, we knew Reid hates doing it.
He doesn't like doing it. He will only do it if you're very special to him.
Yes.
And playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Maybe.
Right. But he doesn't play Dungeons and Dragons.
No, never.
But I climb behind, and that starts a thing that we continued throughout the season, which was the bits of kebabs and trinkets.
Yeah, talking about trinkets and kebabs. Well,
trinkets and kebabs.
I think the funniest part of that is when you come back up, your chain is in your mouth.
Yes,
it's so funny. And Reid plays along with it. He kind of looks back there. He just was like, how'd that get down there?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a whole thing. And you I asked you, do you find any trinkets? And you went, just some kebabs.
Just some kebabs.
Just some kebabs.
Just some kebabs.
The beauty of improv, everybody.
Well, earlier I had talked about how much I hate all the rip-off jokes. Reid makes one. I think we're because we're talking about where the Scottish accent comes from. And he's like, I don't know if I can say what show. I don't want to rip off anything. And Tanner and I both look at the camera and do this.
Yes. And
we both make an O face.
Well, the other thing that happens is that that happens twice in his episode.
Yeah.
At least in the extended version, because the first time he says something about ripped off, and you point at the sign and you go, "You read those signs," and it's really funny because he just goes, "Oh."
Yeah. Oh.
And it's really funny.
And then I transition with the jump
cut transition is one of my top favorite transitions in the season. It's really funny.
I've not watched those episodes in like.
They're not worth it.
Yeah, they're not worth it.
So,
don't do it.
Not even for
I
this.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's just a transition of I just put the text jump cut
on
the screen
okay, never mind.
and I voice it over with just going jump cut.
I do remember that.
Yes.
There were some I'll give you that. There were some funny transitions in there where you just like took
because
this
one of them was
overused
just like
bit and made
Tanner's
it
just
your
like,
own.
and then the jump cut one.
Yeah.
And we use multiple times throughout the season. We use I don't even know what to call that, but like the screen.
The technical difficulty
difficulty
screen. We use that. We just use
lot.
a quick little like a white flash with a little boop
Yeah.
sound effect, and then like sometimes a side sweep. And eventually later in the season, I just started not doing any transitions to where sometimes my transitions would be that, like if it was the same shot, for example, I know you'd see it in Cooper's episode where it would be a shot of him a little bit zoomed in, and a transition is still a shot of him, but it's just zoomed out to make it look like that something has changed. So that way the viewer knows that this is a different shot.
Do you
as
think you'll
opposed
get
to,
back to
Transition.
I don't know.
He's gonna use that one.
like
It
him.
just
It
depends on if they
Yeah.
work, because I don't need to needlessly do a little like boop, because that implies that that's almost another blooper technical
Right,
difficulty
like an
thing.
idea that something went wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
where
Which, to be
because-
fair, in some of those,
because
something
in
did
reality,
go wrong.
even with Cooper, like even with the zoom in, zoom out thing, the slight zoom in, zoom out as a transition, I don't need to do that. I could just cut to where he is looking a little different or facing a different direction,
Right.
because people know that it's a show and that it's recorded and that is how transitions work. But for the sake of, I guess, some sort of continuity, it makes it a little bit better. So I'm not really sure what we would do. Again, it's just if it works. But after that, we had just the standard roommate segment, and I realized after this
Pee-pooing?
of how many
Poo-pooing?
questions that we had, especially in this one, that didn't lead to anything. Like when I say how can you stand us, that's a bad question, because even when I wrote it out, I didn't know what to expect as an answer of like if we could get anything.
Well, I'm sitting down, so
Yeah.
Can you stand us?
But it led to Tanner
I mean,
the
it could,
extended
but-
as an extended exclusive of Tanner asking Reid. He's like, "Well, do you even sit? Because Christian's always in the bathroom." Because without being too explicit and too graphic, we'll say
You got tummy problems.
I have an efficient digestive system.
yeah.
I have a very efficient digestive system.
Ironic that. What, efficient? Is that what the
Reid and
word?
I were actually talking about
Yeah,
this the
yeah.
other day. Of
Is it
do I have
fact-
do I
does
have
he have a
an
shorter one,
insufficient or a more efficient?
Right. Yeah. So the fact that he
Yeah.
poops so much.
Well, the way
is-
that
We'll
you
just throw it
say
out
it
there.
in the
Yeah.
episode, you go, "Do you like shit? Do you like pooing?" You realize that you're about to say
Yeah.
the S word.
That's what you just said.
Would you just
No,
drop?
I didn't
you
say
just
the T.
slammed
I
it.
didn't.
You
We'll
just
go back.
slammed it.
I'll go back, and if I did, then
Say it
you'll hear
again
a
and reenact it and see if you
Do
say
you like
it.
shit? You like pooing?
Yeah, see, he just said it.
That's too close for me.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's
Too close for
that's too
comfort.
close.
Well, it's not close enough for me, and
Too close for comfort.
okay. But then you just kept going. I was like, we don't need to talk about this. And
You're
Tanner
farking around right
Tanner
now.
just keeps going. You like pooing, pee pooing,
Poo-pooing?
poo pooing.
Yeah, that's
And
really
I-
good.
Poop fart.
I don't know how to
Poop
end the segment, so I just go no.
Yes.
And then Tanner really funny, just like,
Oh. Yes.
Oh.
But I think one of the most, I think probably for me, and I know that it was the absolute hardest thing maybe that you did all season, was the editing of the Kiefer no Kiefer bit.
oh yeah.
And it's really impressive. It looks really
Yeah.
good. I
I-
really enjoy it. I think
So-
it turns a mediocre bit
I
into
wanna-
a good
so-
bit.
I want
Before-
to. I want to get on top of it before you get on top of
Okay,
it.
well, I was gonna talk about some other things before we
Oh,
get
okay.
there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So one, the KA bit,
Yes,
because
I do.
originally
Put my
it was just
certificate up there.
to. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'll hopefully have a picture of that.
well,
Just-
You
yeah.
can always
There's-
take
See
it.
it when I put it up here. You'll know what it is.
there's a lot of story involved in that certificate.
Yeah,
That's
too long to tell.
Yeah. yeah.
Let's just say
But-
Reid's a confident man. He's got
Sure.
Okay.
copious
Sure.
amounts
Okay.
of confidence.
Sure.
Sure.
But the reason that I asked, so you're in KAY, is just because we asked Thomas the same thing. And it's like not expecting an answer.
And both of us
And it works. Yeah, but
were like,
just like because it's like, what do you answer? It's a
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
question to ask.
Yes.
But Tanner just, hey, I don't even know if I can do the sound. Tanner, do you want to
It was
try?
something
I just
from-
heard it
was
earlier,
something
right?
to the effect of.
yeah, it was.
Honey, hi.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was pretty
And
good.
Yeah.
it was just very out of the blue, and I didn't expect it. And then one thing that I cut out because we were just like, "What was that?" Is Tanner goes, "It's my KA impression,"
Yeah, that was my.
and Reid was like, "I don't know if we
for
can,
no reason.
if I want that in there."
At all.
Yeah.
There was
bad rep.
There's another thing where I asked Reid, what's the most interesting thing about you? Because so far it's that toe. And the reason that I asked that was because when Tanner and I were writing it, we had hit a writer's block and we couldn't come up with anything else.
And we also aren't good friends. and we couldn't find
they don't
anything.
know me.
Yeah.
We couldn't find anything
Well, it's
about
the
our
classic
friend that
thing
we
of
like.
like guys don't know anything about each other, even though they've been friends for years.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah. I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
I don't have any pictures with him. You know,
I'm not sure when this guy moved in. Like,
yeah, I just appeared one day.
One day our old roommate was gone and he was there, and it was just
it's because we couldn't come up with anything, and we were like, what do we just ask him if there's anything interesting about him? Because I think I made a joke while Tanner and I were writing. I just went, dang it, Reid, be more interesting.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I am interested in that.
Very.
There's a lot of stuff the people don't know, and that's okay.
That is true.
It adds to the
mystery,
the mystery,
mystique, the nonchalantness.
I'm so nonchalant.
Redhead.
My hair's not dreadhead enough.
We're growing it out.
We're working on it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just got my haircut, so it's kind of we're getting back to the dreadhead part. But
one of the things that Reid does say is like, my initials spell out rad, and this goes into another thing that I feel like we need to clarify. Of the way that I have viewed it is that I kind of leave it up to the guests to decide how they want to act. But for me and Tanner, we are somewhat of a character in the sense that what we say on the show should not be taken seriously.
Right.
Because in that bit, I pretend like I don't know why that should be interesting. I'm just like, what does that mean? RAD? Okay, my initials is CRW. Like, I think, I don't know if Tanner knew that's what I was trying to do or not, or if he, as a good decision, was trying to wrap up that segment, because he cuts in and is like, do you not get that?
Do you not get that?
And it's like, to me, it's funny because it's like it's uninteresting is what it is. He was like, "What is there anything more interesting about you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my initials spell rad." Like it's
lame
like
as
just hell. It's just lame and
loser. It's not even your decision.
And I feel like that really kind of pushed the bit.
I bet your middle name's like Andrew or something.
Close.
Anthony.
Almost.
It's Anthony.
Anderson.
It's Anthony.
Y'all are so
we're not
close.
Doing this.
Yeah, no,
we're not doing this. We don't care.
They don't even know what it is.
Now, Reid, I'll give you the floor of whatever you wanted to say for Kiefer, no Kiefer.
Yes.
So the mouthwash.
Yes.
So Christian has yellow mouthwash.
Had
yellow mouthwash.
Switched to the blue.
And he switched to blue between the podcast and me seeing him switch
between
yellow.
Filming that episode.
Yeah. So
Reid was still under the impression that I had yellow mouthwash.
Yeah, because he I guess you do still keep it on the sink there, but it was so ingrained in my mind because I'm not looking at your mouthwash every day because I use my own sink. But so I thought he had yellow mouthwash in the cup, and when I smelled it, I'm not drinking your yellow mouthwash.
Yeah, in that outro clip where he says that.
Looking back, it's not.
It's a little racist.
It's not a good look.
Racist, but it's not.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I'm Asian, so
with his dad
and his
Asian
mother.
mother.
I guess I did clarify earlier in the episode. We were like my white dad and my Asian mom.
Your Honor, I'm Singaporean. Sorry.
But yeah, Reid was not trying to be racist. He was just under the impression
that it was
still had yellow mouthwash.
And then it was spearmint or wintergreen or whatever.
Yeah, it's just regular mint. The yellow one is just original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what does that even taste like?
It cough syrup?
Not really. No, that'd be purple.
Oh.
Does it taste like
can't
yellow?
Put it down the cup.
Sipping on promethazine.
I have some mouthwash in my truck, actually.
Did y'all see, Dave Blunt's?
Mm-hmm.
Dave Blunt stood up on stage the other day.
And
he got a standing ovation.
I saw that he's threatened to crowd surf.
Oh, man.
It is a threat.
But yeah, the editing of that entire sequence is very good.
Well, one thing that's interesting is that I didn't find out until afterwards, Reid never knew what kefir was.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a thing of most people shouldn't know what that is, but in the sense that we were roommates and I figured the what it was had already been explained because it had almost become this running bit.
For
with us
why do you have so much
months.
kefir in the fridge?
Yeah.
He has 5
I didn't even know what kefir was. I just pink drank.
Pink
and
drank.
That was it. That was all I knew. But no, it's fermented
yeah,
milk,
I
right?
remember. Yes,
For the viewers,
Yes.
because
but I
nobody knows
put
what
I put
kefir
a
is.
disclaimer in there. I put like on the bottom in really small text note: kefir is funky fermented milk.
Correct.
You should go rewatch it so you can see what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and to
pump those
inflate my
views up.
numbers.
Pump those views up, ladies.
But yeah, we were talking about earlier. What?
I don't know. I also I
he's-
made a little shrug face when I said that as well.
Yeah.
We were talking about how we originally didn't like the segment, and I remember, I think not even when I started editing, but just after we filmed it, Tanner and I were talking about it, and we were just like, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I was going to have to do a lot of editing. But I did know that, like, I already knew that, like, I wanted to use the Deal or No Deal font and whatnot, and that I wanted that Majora's Mask transition where it's like the first drink and it plays that sound effect
Day one
thing. Yeah, originally, in Majora's Mask, it's like dawn of the first day,
Mhm.
72 hours remain or whatever. But then for that, I changed it to like first drink kefir.
Yeah.
And
But
that
what's
for still kefir, when we say everything, that all of the words
Yes.
there on screen and they're
Yes.
hitting each other
That
and doing the whole
I like
thing.
Yeah.
that a lot.
So- so the-
also not. Oh yeah.
Wait, go
kefir.
ahead.
Let Reid
no,
talk.
that's what.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
that-
I was saying. What
This is
the-
my episode, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
I'm
Well,
kidding. I'm kidding.
you'll live.
I can't say that.
It's our show. Yeah.
But no. So the reason he had to edit so much in the kefir no kefir bit is because we did the
One, it
first.
took a while to set up.
Yeah,
did take a
okay,
while.
it did take a while to set up. So there was a pretty good gap between like us talking and then the kefir no kefir bit because we had trouble with the bandana, had trouble with the kefir
Oh, I
cup.
forgot about the
Yeah.
bandana, like trying to figure out how to
Yeah.
tie it or
Mhm.
do.
Yeah. But
Had
yeah,
trouble
Tanner-
getting the
Tanner-
bandana.
Tanner doesn't know how to
Yeah.
tie bandanas, which is
His
fun
head
fact.
was too big.
I think we had
That's what
talked
we all
about
say.
just having Tanner stand there to cover up the
Cover his eyes,
his
yeah.
eyes up.
But yeah, so we did the first two kefir cups, and that was in order. And then the mouthwash, my first reaction was like, "Oh, this is mouthwash,"
Which
like,
is,
which is that
that's
clip
the
which
entire
is-
see
which is what
at
you.
the end, what I
Yeah.
call like the post credits
Yeah.
scene almost.
When I actually drink, because I did actually drink the mouthwash. It
Yes.
was after
the
acknowledging
first
it.
clip that's shown of him drinking it is real.
Yes.
That if he did drink it and he's coughing and all
it
that.
took what 3 takes for me to get
3 takes
actually,
on $6.
Well, because sick.
which
we can.
I still haven't
I was
been
like,
paid, by the way.
Yes, that's
no.
not
The
true.
way that it worked was that I was gonna give him $1, and Tanner was like, "I'll give you 5," and I was like, "Okay,
I
that's
gave you
6."
5. I gave you
him
5.
his
Oh yeah,
dollar.
you did
Yes, I
actually.
did.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
remember
did.
in the
I
car
paid you.
ride.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
I remember
never
I
mind.
gave you
My
your
fault.
$1.
He did
So
get paid $6.
we did pay him $6, but it was that you were like, "That's mouthwash," and you can see in that clip that I say the F word and I just mute my mic, but you can still see me just go.
Yeah.
And because I'm just like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm like we have to get this. This is what makes the segment
Yeah.
that segment.
Mhm.
And
It's
it took
the
so
episode.
long to convince you, and I was just like, come on, man, please.
Hey,
Because I remember I drank mouthwash the day before because
see if
I
it was
needed to
okay.
know what I
bad
was
it
putting
was.
you through.
Yeah.
And you
and
knew
I
it was
was
bad.
like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll be okay. He'll cough
Yeah.
a little bit, but he will be fine. Right.
So yeah, the first take, I just immediately snipped it out and said this is mouthwash, and that ruined it. So the second take, I like tried to hype myself up to drink it, but I knew it was gonna be bad because I have swallowed mouthwash before and I know it sucks. And so I was like, okay, no. And then the third take, I actually went for it and then had an actual coughing fit. Like I was actually coughing. I had said I was gonna cough.
You take a sip of it and then you spit it back out.
Yeah, you
in
spit
your
it back
cup.
out in the cup.
And
we were like-
obviously that doesn't work. So I actually swallowed it, and I had said I was going to cough for the bit, but that was me actually coughing because it hurt. But I did it. I manned up. $6 in. It was good.
What'd that camera say?
Charged the battery pack.
Oh, it's okay. We're almost
We're
done.
almost out
Yeah.
of time anyway.
But that episode, because of like that's how we close it, it's one of the only episodes that has a thank you for watching. And speaking of which, thank you for watching this episode of the Ripoff Podcast. I've been Christian Wilcox, he's been Tanner Kenley, and he's been Reid Dutton. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, this is Reid Dutton.
I'll keep being.